Hello and welcome. It's a great time to be a woman in the Indian workforce, particularly if you're working for a technology company in India. But there are a lot of things that are happening which perhaps you don't know, but if you're a young aspiring engineer or a technical person. I'm going to be speaking to Juhi Ahmed, who heads employee communications and is the lead for that function and the CSR function at the Microsoft India Development Center in Hyderabad. Juhi, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you.
Juhi, tell us, you've been sort of donning a corporate and a non-corporate hat when it comes to understanding the problems of women in the workforce and solving them and ensuring that they stay on. So tell us about what you've been doing and what you've learned along the way.
Well, you might have heard this morning that one of the things that they spoke about at a session that we had was that in the workplace, women have a 25% representation in technology and IT, and that's clearly something that companies are thinking about very seriously and trying to address, building those numbers up, encouraging women to come back into the workforce, encouraging women to stay in the workforce. And those sorts of initiatives I'm seeing more and more of now. People are thinking about the importance of women as consumers, importance of women as decision makers to buy products and to sell products. So I have learned as an individual working at Microsoft that it's a very supportive environment for me. But a lot of the times, the conversations that have to be made to talk about myself, I have to come forward and let people know what I do and how my work is impacting on the business. And it's becoming more and more easier for me to do that. People are more open to listening rather than just sort of observing. So
and how would you describe the larger landscape? I mean, not just Microsoft, but the larger landscape for women who are coming into the workforce, maybe more technology than anything else.
Well, I've had the fortune to work globally. So I've worked in Australia as a journalist in a previous life, and now I work in a different world, but nonetheless, I work as a woman. I'm a working mother, and I think the landscape has changed significantly in the last 8 years that I've been in India. When I arrived, I felt somewhat that things were a little bit sort of behind the 8 ball. I had to have conversations, I had to explain certain things that I needed to have done at work as a woman. Even things like I found my colleagues, who simple things like maybe nursing their children in the workplace, having access to childcare, some of the benefits that one took for granted when one was living overseas, things that were important as a young mother. I thought that wasn't as thought out and well thought out in those days, but now I can see women are talking about it, companies are thinking about it, they're making the workplace a far more satisfying and fulfilling place for a woman to be in.
Right. So do you think because of this, the gap between the organized sector and the way it's taking care of women, or women are finding a more comfortable place to work in, and the unorganized sector is even growing further now?
That's a tough question. You put me in a spot there on that one.
Yeah. Because finally we are, all this is in the context of India as a society, right? Or India as a country and so on. So
yeah, I guess there are situations in the organized workplace which are obviously far more, for want of a better word, well thought out. There are much better support frameworks and infrastructures. I don't see much of that happening in the unorganized workplace. I'd like it to be much more. I still feel a lot of women in India are disadvantaged significantly. I mean, I speak about this globally as well. It's not just India, but we're talking about the Indian context. I think there's so much more that can be done. We're taking a lot of, good steps. We've gone past the crawl stage. We hopefully, but we're not running running ahead in terms of the emancipation of women, if you like. But it's a lot better than a lot of other places, I would say.
Right. So we've obviously taken some strides in education of women at the let's say at the primary school level, and then at the secondary school level, and then going on further from there. Now, while those gaps are slowly getting filled, how do you see the attraction of good jobs, of a good life, and all of that changing things there? I mean, is all of this really affecting or improving the bottom line numbers?
You mean, is it helping make women more aspirational?
Yeah.
Is that what you mean?
That's one of the questions, yes.
So obviously, I mean, it's a ripple effect, right? You create situations, you have a better education system. When we do, India enjoys a great education system. I mean, some of it's not perfect, but by and large, fabulous, for people who have access to it. And yeah, so there is a ripple effect, and women are getting, empowered to aspire to, a better life, a better work life, a better work culture, a family situation. And of course, education has the other aspect, which is it's empowering women outside as well, outside the realm of the workplace, within their own personal lives, where they're able to speak up and speak out. I think there is definitely a consequence of that.
So do you feel, this could be more a personal question, or the question in the personal capacity. Do you feel that enough young women opt for a career versus, let's say, being a homemaker, despite having the qualifications to opt for a career? And what can change that?
I think young women now, I think it's a given, they opt for a career. Mm-hmm. Some of them may be constrained because they might have family pressures, get married, you're going to no longer be, eligible if you wait till you're past 26. But I think I'm really feel very positive about the fact that women are making choices to say, hey, I've put in the hard slog, I've worked my butt off to get to this point. I'm not just going to let go of it very easily, and hats off to them that they're taking that stand. I see more and more young women speaking out, and I think also I see that families are also accepting that it's, they're studying, they're working, and there is a progression, and yes, maybe a marriage and family and their own family will come, but girls and young women, and of course young men as well. I'm talking about women, but I think this applies to both sexes. Far more assertive about their choices in life.
Right, and what are organizations like, let's say, Microsoft or others doing, which is to address problems at the second stage, which is really the mid-career hurdle that many young women face because they have to leave for family reasons?
So, well, we host a number of initiatives at Microsoft designed to either keep women in the workplace and make it a very supportive atmosphere. We also have a very significant initiative called Springboard, where we bring women back who've maybe taken a year off, 2 years off, sabbatical to have children, and just, and not confident about coming back. So we've encouraged them with this program where we actually help them come back into the workplace, and they're supported with mentors and managers. We give them a buddy to help kind of initiate them back into the system. And it's been proving successful for us in terms of keeping women happy in the workplace so that they choose to continue despite any changes in their personal lives. That's also, we're seeing more and more of that happening with initiatives that we've introduced and have had in the organization for years. It's not like it's new things that we're putting in. Of course, we want to try and improve things as we go along. The initiatives could be, flexible work, childcare, access to childcare, easy childcare, being able to give them inflection point mentors so that when they change careers within their track, so you want to go from being a PM, a program manager, to a tester, you have a support network there, you have a mentor who helps guide you through that. Those sorts of things we found make a big difference to women and enable them to make the choice to stay on and rather than leave.
Right. So let me ask you, if you had a wish list when it came to women empowerment and achieving a much better status in a country like India, what would it be?
Where women are treated equal, I guess, for everything in the workplace, where we don't have to struggle to be heard, and we don't have to, if you're saying something, it's not being aggressive, it's being assertive, where you are viewed as an equal player in the scheme of things, and that there is a greater balance in the workforce. Where you walk into a room and there's not 10 men and there's only one woman, that would be a nice place to be, where you walk into a room and there's equal representation, if not maybe more, and where men, also enjoy that experience, right? It's not just about the women, right? It's all very well for me to keep saying, it should be this, it should be that. I think where men are also feeling comfortable about the whole situation, I think it's important for them to be included in that conversation. It's not just about us saying, we want to do this and we want to do that. I think men also want to, I think if we can achieve a 50-50, that would be great.
Right, so equitable, which leads to more comfortable, which leads to, I'm assuming and presuming, better output and better harmony in the workplace. Thank you so much for speaking with us, Juhi.
Thank you.